Hey guys, this is Sandeep from Revertless and welcome back to yet another video. Today we are doing the long-term review of the Realme X50 Pro 5G smartphone. And before we get started, please do make sure to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications to avoid missing any videos from us in the future. Now let's begin. The X50 Pro 5G comes in two colors, rusty red or moss green, and it has a satin sort of effect at the back which does a good job at reducing fingerprint retention on the back panel. Both are very subtle, understated colors that give a shine at certain angles, and while red is the more unique offering, I personally prefer the green one. The back panel gives good grip and a reference would be the OnePlus 70 as the finish is quite similar to that. Despite having a smaller screen size compared to the 70 or X2 Pro, it is heavier and does feel denser, and I think larger battery capacity is a major contributor to this factor. It does feel a bit bottom heavy but not too much that it becomes a pain to use. There's no IP rating, and that would be something that we would like to see, especially on phones that are in and around or above 40,000 rupees. The overall build quality and design definitely feels premium, and while it still does have a very Realme aesthetic that even some phones under 20,000 rupees have, holding and using the phone definitely changes your perspective that it's just any other Realme handset. The glass used both at the front and back are Gorilla Glass 5 by the way, even though the material at the back looks very much like metal, especially in the red color variant which looks slightly like copper. Coming to a display, we get a 6.44-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED panel with 90Hz refresh rate and HDR10 Plus support. It comes pre-fitted with a plastic screen protector, and I suggest swapping this out for a tempered one or going commando, although that would lead to micro scratches even though it's a Gorilla Glass 5 panel. There's a camera cutout which is located at the upper left corner, which I believe is the least intrusive position for a camera cutout, especially when watching content, but it's fairly large since it does accommodate two sensors into it. Still much better than having a wide notch or having the cutouts in the center. Other than this, the display is uninterrupted and pretty enjoyable, be it for gaming or content, and the display offers great contrast, good brightness, and does very well even under direct sunlight. You can choose between 60 and 90Hz modes or allow the phone to auto-select it, and obviously there is a difference in battery life which we shall talk about later, but we'd suggest sticking to 90Hz as the difference isn't all that much. Under display is the fingerprint scanner, which is one of the fastest of its kind that we have used. It's very accurate and has a high success rate, and it also supports face unlock with the front facing camera, which is very fast as well, but obviously not as secure. The X50 Pro 5G comes with a dual speaker setup, and there's a bottom firing speaker near the Type-C port with the earpiece doubling up as the secondary speaker. The quality is very good and it gets very loud as well, and while it's not the absolute best, it still qualifies for a great stereo experience, especially on a flagship smartphone. The X50 Pro 5G is the first phone in India to come packing a Snapdragon 865 chipset and comes in 6+128, 8+128 and 8+256GB options, all of which are rocking UFS 3.0 storage. It does very well in terms of gaming, multitasking, or just about anything that you can throw at it, as is expected from a flagship processor. The 90Hz display definitely gives the phone an edge, especially when you play games that can take advantage of a higher refresh rate. The software experience is Realme UI atop Android 10, which is good, and while it's not as great as Oxygen UI from the 70, it's still better than ColorOS and FunTouchOS and is definitely livable with. Coming to the cameras, the X50 Pro 5G comes with a quad camera setup. You get a 64MP Samsung GW1 sensor with f1.8 aperture. You also get a secondary ultra-wide-angle 8MP f2.3 camera, a 2x telephoto camera with 13MP resolution, and a 2MP black and white portrait depth sensing camera as well. At the front is a 32MP IMX616 sensor with f2.5 aperture and a secondary ultra-wide-angle 8MP f2.2 camera as well. The GW1 sensor is a bit of a disappointment as there are cheaper phones that come with Sony sensors, but Realme says that they've had enough experience with the GW1 that makes it easier to improve the quality, and they have actually made huge advances in terms of camera compared to previous phones, and I suggest you check out our camera review for the full-fledged details. It comes with a 4200 mAh battery which provides good battery life, north of 7 hours of screen on time easily on a single charge with 90Hz and around an hour more if you use 60Hz. Mind you, this is on 4G networks, and the reason for the slightly larger battery capacity over the X2 Pro for example is because the 5G network usage will drain more battery than 4G, but as we don't have any 5G networks in India currently, it's not possible to test it, nor does it matter until the time that it rolls out. In terms of charging speed, if you've experienced the charging on the X2 Pro, you'll find this quite similar. And by similar, I mean insanely fast, and while other phones charge quick, None will showcase a visually impressive charging speed like the 55 watt or this new 65 watt super dart charge that the X50 Pro 5G has. The total charging time is slightly over 35 minutes or lesser, and that's insane. In fact, it throttles a bit towards the higher battery percentages, and if you leave it just for 10 minutes, you can get enough charge to last you practically over half a day. You need to use the bundle charger for this, of course, and in case you don't have it, it's also backward compatible with other charging technologies from Realme such as VOOC as well as power delivery. Therefore, the Realme X50 Pro 5G is definitely one hell of a smartphone, but we have to address the elephant in the room, which is the OnePlus 7T. Is the OnePlus 7T a better choice, or is the X50 Pro 5G a better choice? Well, I find that it's a difficult question to answer, but I'll put it this way. If you like the better software experience of Oxygen UI and do a lot of multitasking, then I would say that the OnePlus 7T makes more sense because it has more RAM by default at a cost of 5,000 rupees lesser, and the 855 chipset is still very powerful. But if you prefer a faster charging experience, better battery life, better cameras especially in terms of stills, and also want something that could possibly last you around 3 to 4 years, then I think the X50 Pro 5G is better and is worth spending that 5,000 rupees extra. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button.